Good evening, everyone. My name is Kjwippy and I'm back with more breaking news. A mysterious new machine within the Nerdcraft shopping district has become a center of concern, as many cases of semi-permanent recoloration have been reported. Those affected have shown little symptoms other than clear discoloration of their skin and clothes.
So not a lot of people know this, but I can kind of just change color whenever I want. So seeing that there's a machine that can do it for me without putting in any effort, I'm like, yo, that's kind of cool. But now I can't change back and I'm kind of stuck green and yellow.
So this recolorinator thing popped up and I was like, okay, let's pop in. And then I was normal and then I just changed to this.
Though the creator of this machine still goes unknown, many suspect none other than Kjwippy, founder of ex-mega corporation Carrot and publicly known victim of the meteor, as his skin tone has mysteriously returned to normal after some time. Local authorities have shut down the machine and labeled it as a contamination. No civilians are to cross the blockade under any circumstances. That's all we know for now, but we'll keep you posted here on Nerdcraft News. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. We are back with Nerdcraft SMP Season 2 after a very long time of waiting. And this is because we were taking quite a while to wait for one of our mods to update, and unfortunately, it just never did. So we got rid of it, and we are now currently on the latest version of Minecraft. I'm well aware that it's been quite a long time since the official release of 1.21.4 came out, but we have finally got it in our server, and now it is time for us to locate the Pale Garden, and that's exactly what I'm going to go look for today. This is a huge cherry grove. Well, there we are. Now it's just a matter of collecting up a bunch of the materials here. I'm going to leave some for others, but this is going to be mine. Yeah, I'm really excited to see how I can utilize this white wood in the future, because it's just something that I really want to try to make work. I have to admit, though, these trees are kind of underwhelming in terms of their actual shapes. Because, I mean, we got the mangroves, which are their own completely unique shape. The cherry blossoms, which are their own unique shape. And then there's this, which is just kind of meh. You know? Alright, it's becoming nighttime. Blossoms are out, so now it's a matter of, let's see if we can get any of the man to spawn, the spooky dude. I know that I can't kill him, I'm just trying to get resin to spawn on the trees. Whoop, that's my sword. I need that. Yeah, so as you can see, when you hit him, for those of you who aren't aware, if you hit him, you can see what tree directly he is connected to. And the more you hit him, the more it will spawn that orange resin on the tree that you can use for building blocks. You can use it for armor trims. Ow. Oh, there it is. And then he disappears. Perfect. And I think I picked it up. So I can actually take him home and I can farm more resin where need be. I am a massive fan of the decorative choices and the ambiance choices that they've done with this update, because this is super, super cool. I wish that maybe there's a bit more in this biome. It wasn't just trees or whatever. Like, there was actually a decent reason to go in here. But even so, I am very happy with how this looks. Now, while I'm out, I do want to keep an eye out for decent spots to build a mega base in the future. Because admittedly, I don't know where I want to build my mega base. I thought that there was a spot within the original border that I wanted to use, but not really anymore. But before we do anything else, Noob Banshee has asked me if I want to collaborate and make a moss farm. Now, if I were a Noob Banshee, where would I be? Hello, Mr. Banshee, sir. You're looking awfully pink.
I do. Oh, good heavens. Maybe we put the moss farm about in this general area,
Okay.
Because the reason why I'm saying here is because then I can also link it up, come in here into a shulker loader,
Yeah.
and then you can just like grab the shulker because I'm not gonna go for it.
Valid.
What we can do is, this is not a pearlescent moon door.
No,
Not
I'm just an
supposed to
idiot.
struggle with it.
I'm just an idiot. It's fine.
I'm actually gonna go to bed now.
Oh, yeah, it's late for you. I'll get to work on it. I got you.
No, no, I haven't gotten any of the stuff ready yet, so
All good. I prepared a shulker box with some of the stuff, and then I've got all my redstone stuff, so I should be able to.
Yeah.
So I'll start clearing out a bunch of these trees and kind of get a groundwork up for the moss farm, and hopefully it'll at least be functional enough to start getting something running.
yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. I ended up getting the groundwork built up for this moss farm, and it's a really simple design when it comes down to it. I ended up using a redstone tutorial by the YouTube channel Basic Redstone, and this thing, oh man, it is a beefy machine. It just cranks out moss like no tomorrow. But it's really nice because it has a built-in separation for bone meal storage, but at some point during this process, I do want to end up getting an auto crafter put in, so that way it can automatically craft any bone meal into bone blocks, and then it can compact the storage way better. And I know that there are some people who would absolutely love to buy some bone blocks, so that'll be a nice little economic venture for me if I decide I want to sell that. Went to sleep, had this thing running overnight, and I had also built up the auto sorter. So let's see how we did. It looks like it's still doing stuff. That's really backed up. Okay. Oh no. Oh no, that's not good. Oh no. Oh, did they all break? Okay, well this one's still good. No. No, all these moss carpets, get out of here. Now, Banshee did say that he's going to set this up to a shulker box loader, so that way all of the bone blocks that we get from this, which should be a lot. We're already stacking a quarter, which I guess, considering the amount of things that have filtered into here, that's pretty good. Oh, you know what it is? So the way that this auto sorter works, and this is a pretty common one, is that when this fills up just far enough, it'll start to power both, which means that if this one is overflowing, all of the stuff in this one will start to go. Oh no. Okay, I think it's fixed. This is just all full up of all of the junk that was down in these. But I should have everything sorted out of these so that way it's only moss blocks. And hopefully, these will not be too powered. So now is the long and tedious process of sitting here and waiting for this all to finish. Because if I just let it sit here now, the next time I come over here to AFK, it's just going to be full up and then it'll overflow all over again and then it'll just be a nightmare. So I need to make sure that this is going. I might just need to add more composters. All right, so now it is at quadruple efficiency, and this will just be a manual chest that we can put anything into should anything come through here. Although it shouldn't, because I hopefully fixed it, and if I didn't fix it, I'm gonna be real mad. I am curious, because apparently this design did have a built-in bone meal Whoa. Well, okay then. Look at that. See, we're even getting passive bone meal from the farm running itself as well. Maybe there's a way I could actually just hook that straight up to the auto crafter. I think I actually could 100% just do that. If I just get a line of hoppers, put them in there. That's nuts. Yeah, alright, let's do it. Alright, so now that passively should go into the auto crafter as well. Nice. Oh, that's awesome. Hi, gentlemen. But let's pack up our stuff. And I'm going to sleep real quick just so the horrible birds of the night sky don't decide to show up. And sweet. Now, I have to say the first overnight session did go really well, as this is only half of what we got in terms of moss blocks, which is just insane. When I was working with the design that I'd found, I didn't realize that it said 21,000 blocks per hour. So that's kind of on me, but this thing is awesome. And so that means we won't have to AFK at it for nearly as long. And I want to implement at some point a way to switch off the sorter, so that way all blocks and everything will go into composters to exclusively make bone meal and bone blocks. I don't know why I had a stroke saying that. So, Megabase. What are we doing about it? The Megabase is honestly something that I've kind of been putting off just because I don't entirely have a plan for it. And I know that that's something I said I didn't want to do for this season, but I don't know, it's something that hasn't really been something that I've wanted to do. So I haven't put much thought into what structurally I'd like to do, but I think I know at least where and what I would like the vibe to be. So in these shulker boxes here, I have a bunch of the warped nylium, the warped wart. I've got all the different logs and roots and all that junk. And actually, it's a really good thing that I have all of this moss. Wait, do you think we can make it with the pale moss? I just realized. Oh my god. But yes, with the pale moss, I need a lot more of, but I'm going to need a bunch of this, a bunch of the regular moss, and then all of that stuff as well. And that is because we are going to be making a custom biome. That's right, we're going to be making a custom biome, and it's going to be in this green area here. This whole section of land is going to be transformed into an alien landscape that hopefully looks pretty good. Because if it doesn't, it's gonna be a big bummer. Now, I'm not the hugest fan of terraforming, and I'm also not super great at terraforming. So this is going to be a huge adjustment for me, and I'm not entirely sure how I want to go about it just yet. But what I do want to do is go into a test world real quick and just get the gradient for the biome border to work the way that I want it to, because I want it to kind of fade from the bright blue of the ground here into more of the green here. So maybe I'll have it fade from the nylium and the wart blocks to like some of the concrete powder, and then into the pale moss, and then into moss, and then into grass. So it's like it's got that transition, and it's slowly losing its blue, becoming more green. Something along that line. Not entirely sure, but that's why I'm going to figure it out. So this is what I've managed to kind of come up with. We're going to ignore the big blob of blue that's over there. I think this is probably as close to my vision as possible, at least that I'm aware of right now. So it's primarily the warped nylium with some of the wart blocks mixed in along the way, and then we have it transition into the pale moss and some tuff, and then into the mossy cobble, and then moss, and then that'll just go straight into grass. Then we've also got the extra little like roots and grass and stuff from the nether to kind of help that transition a bit more, because there's not really a good in-between block for the nylium into the pale moss. So that'll be something that I figure out later. But then also we have these trees, and looking at it now, it's really just a glorified cherry blossom tree, but even still, like, it does feel very unearthly from this kind of position. So mixing in some of the coral and some of the terracotta and all that stuff into this as well, it's going to give it just that extra bit of texture, which is going to be really nice. And then I didn't realize you could put the azalea blossoms on fence posts, so that's something new. Yeah, so I've got a lot of resource gathering to do when it comes to this kind of thing. Like, I don't have any crimson wood, I don't really have any cherry leaves or anything like that, so that'll be a thing that I worry about later. But at the very least, I wanted to get an idea for the vibe that this place is going to give off. So hopefully I'm able to do that relatively okay. Right now, I think what I'm going to do, though, is I'm just going to get a space kind of sectioned out in the actual world to be able to work with. Because last thing I want to do is extend past where I'm allowed to go, and then somebody is complaining because I'm in their space. I don't want to be in somebody's space. So let's hop on over there. so here we are with our actually pretty small biome. Now that I'm looking at it, it's actually kind of relatively small, but it's still a lot of nylium. I think this was 18 shulker boxes worth, and then some. I don't remember exactly, but I think it was around 29,000 nylium that I placed, which is a lot. But you can see we've also got some of these warped wart patches going around here, just to add a bit of extra texture. I'm going to be running around and bone mealing up a bunch of this. I'm going to be getting some paths laid out with a bunch of that mud. And I think some of these hills and stuff are going to be more of like the packed mud on the top as well, to give it a bit more of that kind of worn down and lived in texture, where the different buildings for the outposts are going to be. Because I want to have multiple buildings, and I think it'll be really cool. I'm also going to be having a bunch of patches of that pale moss and tuff and all that stuff to keep in theme with what's going on with the border, or at least what eventually will be going on, because right now the border is just straight up a harsh stop between the nylium and the grass. So throughout time, I will be adjusting that and making sure that that blends a bit better with the moss. And also, it was brought to my attention that glow lichen would also really help with transferring the blue to the gray. I could put glow lichen on top of some of the nylium, and that would give it some more of that gray-blue blend that I think I've been lacking otherwise. So that'll be really nice. I missed a block. But that, my friends, is going to do it for this episode of Nerdcraft SMP. Thank you so much for your patient wait for this series. Thank you so much for your patient wait with videos in general. Life has been hectic, life has been crazy, and I appreciate you all. I appreciate... Zoom in on my chest, why not? So until the next video, I hope you all stay safe. I love you all, and I will see you later on. Goodbye!